Welcome to Uncanny X-Minutes, where we bring you the comics behind the movies. I'm Producer James.
And I'm Stasia.
And we are watching The Wolverine, minutes 20 to 30.
Would you like to know what happens?
Please.
Wolverine gets a tour of the Yashida household. He meets everyone, gets cleaned up. Then Old Man Yashida offers to take Wolverine's immortality.
The cleanup montage is amazing.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's so good because he's looked like a mountain man. He looks like Grizzly Adams through this whole thing, and now he gets cleaned up and with the awkward haircut that we talked about last week.
Right, where it's like it's
the
just so
cowlick.
funny.
He's got the cowlick now.
I like it. It gives me that like what they did to Thor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a real Ragnarok pulled this one off.
Yes, it is.
Now we can actually talk about Mariko, because this is where he meets Mariko for the first time in the movie.
She's the one that tells him to get cleaned. Well, she doesn't tell him to clean up. She tells Yukio to get him cleaned up. He can't go in looking like that. Yeah, Mariko. We talked a little bit about her.
Well, you can't talk about Yukio without talking about Mariko.
Absolutely not. So I feel like I should kind of pick up where we left off. So if you want a little bit of like a rewind, go back to the last episode.
It's good to listen to last episode.
Listen to last episode, because I'm going to pick up kind of where we left off with
because the Wolverine miniseries is about Mariko, but she's not really in it a ton. Yukio's in it more than Mariko is, but it is about, like, she is central to the plot.
Right. The reason Wolverine is there is because of Mariko. The reason he goes to Japan at all. Where we left off at the end of the last episode, which was the 1982 Wolverine miniseries, which is they're getting married. We talked about this.
Yeah. It was a wedding invite.
It was a wedding invite. To preface this a little bit, like, Mariko in the comics, she gets less so as time goes on, but I will say at the beginning there's a lot of, like, she's kind of this damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And
I mean, she's introduced in Uncanny X-Men number 118, and she's just kind of in a garden by herself, and Wolverine comes upon her, and she is more Sunfire's cousin than anything else.
Yeah.
And for those that don't remember, Sunfire was one of the X-Men from Giant Size X-Men number 1 who did not stay on the team.
No, he leaves. We've made fun of Sunfire a lot, I think, about leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back. And
yeah. And he went back to Japan.
He did.
So he is. This is all House Yashida.
Yes. So Mariko is basically under the thumb of her father, who is marrying her off for like to settle his debts with the underworld that he's like getting them involved in. He's basically dishonoring the Yashida clan. There's a lot about honor. Mariko is kind of the opposite of Yukio in a lot of ways, and they kind of set her up that way. Like, Yukio's this free spirit that like wants to live for herself and like live by her own rules and like feels the rush of death. Mariko, her core personality trait that they really hammer home is that Mariko is very about the honor of her family. Like, she comes from a very traditional family, a very old family. We talked about this last week, and that's very important to her. She carries the weight and the responsibility of everybody in Clan Yashida's like on her shoulder. And when I say like Clan Yashida, I don't just mean like her family and her cousins. Like, this is an enterprise. This is a daimyo. Yeah. This is like, we're talking like hundreds of people. In later comics, she has a skyscraper and like manages people in it. Like, we're talking about hundreds of people that she's like leading and is responsible for their livelihoods.
And I think the closest way to do it in a modern setting, like the movie The Wolverine, is to do it as a tech empire.
Absolutely.
Like, it's a business, and then it sort of has the same connotations, or at least the same themes, while making it a little more modern, because it would be hard to be like, oh, it's just honor.
Yeah, and I think in the comics they kind of changed that too, as like, because it is a little tropey. I will say,
for sure.
Like, there is definitely
Claremont loved Japan, is what it. But like, he
like
wanted
an original weeb, man. Like, and he just leans a little too hard on stereotypes here.
He wanted this to be feudal Japan so hard.
Yeah, I mean, he literally calls her a daimyo.
Yeah,
like that's like it's just, it is what it. There's silver samurai, there's daimyos, and there's ninjas. Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, but it is kind of, it's fun, but it is also like it pigeonholed her a little bit, because like, so basically she is being married off, and she does not actively like resist. She chooses to send those letters back to Wolverine because to uphold like the honor of her family, as like her dad is now running the Yashida clan because he's alive. We don't have to get into it, but like originally we thought he was dead. He's not. He comes back and he ruins everything. The miniseries we talked about last week happens, and they get married. They're going to get married at the end, and unfortunately, as is the case with Wolverine, they don't actually get married.
No. There is a what if, though.
There is a what if
they got married.
But I would say,
if you want to know, you can read that instead.
You can read the what if. But in Uncanny X-Men 173, like, you find out that like she rejects him at the altar, and the reason that she does this is because of Mastermind. The issue before that, which I think is 172, and then 173 is where you find out it was Mastermind. But like there's like some scenes where like Viper and Silver Samurai are like trying to kidnap her because Silver Samurai is her half brother, and he wants to take over Yashida clan and all of their nasty, like, underground Yakuza contacts that her dad put in place before Wolverine killed him. She kind of gets away from him, but Mastermind gets to her, and she ends up breaking up with Wolverine, like, right at the altar. Like, she's in the full dress and everything. It's, like, literally about to happen, and she's like, "You're not worthy." Which is kind of a callback to that original miniseries about, like, feeling worthiness and the reason that she rejects him and blah blah blah. It gets resolved, but you in these issues up to 176, like, she has, under the influence of Mastermind, has rebound the Yashida clan to these like unsavory underworld contacts, and it's really important to her to kind of dissolve those eventually, and while also still finding a way for her clan to like continue and be successful and like maintain the quality of life for these people, but also restore the honor before she can marry Wolverine. Because in her perspective, Wolverine risked his own honor when he killed her dad, because he thought that by doing so she would have to kill him as like an honor, like for honor. But because in that original miniseries she was going to kill him herself, and Wolverine did it for her because her dad was like committing things that were like unworthy of the Yashida name, that like he actually is the one that put it all on the line for her. And so she needs to put it all on the line for him, restore her honor, in order for them to be married happily. So this is happening in the late 80s. So we're like talking about 82, we're talking about 83, 84, 85, up to 88. I think this is where this kind of goes back and forth. This is all Claremont. It's all Claremont stuff. But like, I think it's worth understanding that like later issues where, so there's a one issue that is called Wolverine Doombringer, which was published in 1997, and like it adds more about her perspective on honor and like things that the Yashida clan has done and like her feelings of atonement. But in that issue in particular, I would say it's not like super vital to read, but what's important about taking away from that run, that little, it's like one book, it's just like one little spinoff. It's mostly a reason to have Silver Samurai and Wolverine fight again because it's cool.
Yeah.
But like Wolverine in that run, like it's hard to say run because it's one issue, but like he talks about how he doesn't agree with her, that like this whole thing where like they can't be together, they're still like, they refer to each other as fianced, like she's still technically engaged with him but like will not marry him. And I think that shifts, like sometimes they don't refer to it at this, I think that comes later, they talk about it, but like they won't marry until she has like removed all of these like ties to the underworld and has like restored her honor. And Wolverine doesn't agree with it. He thinks that like she feels she's responsible for the sins of her ancestors, but she didn't do any of those things. She didn't choose to be born. So like, why should she have to like atone? And I think that is kind of the core difference between the two, and like ultimately is the reason they don't work out, because they don't agree on this. And like it can't be resolved until she has atoned for everything. And I think in Doombringer it's like a really good point, because he doesn't actually say this, but as a reader, knowing, because that came out in 1997, which is why when everything else has already happened, you realize like, oh, there's never a way to atone for the sins of an entire, like, your ancestry. Like, how far back?
Right.
Like, when in Doombringer, they're talking, like, there's like a times thing where it's like, we're talking about things that happened like hundreds of years ago that she feels that she has to atone for. That's never ending, right? Like, that's like a never going to, you never come to the point where you've atoned, you know, you've cleaned the slate. So it's actually like kind of interesting book in hindsight, because it's written so much later. But jumping like back to the 80s, where it was like, where they're still writing this, and you're reading it and you're thinking maybe they will be together, right? Like maybe they will be, because for a little bit Mariko is cool, okay?
Yeah,
because she runs basically this criminal enterprise in Japan, but is also an ally to the X-Men, because she doesn't want to be running it, but she's kind of like forced to run it and is trying to find ways out of it, but is a long and complicated process, and she doesn't want to do it like where it's going to harm all these other people. So like you have like her showing up in some issues where like she will send ninjas and stuff to like help out X-Men.
Awesome.
So like there's
are these still hand then? The hand ninjas?
Yeah, sometimes. Okay. Sometimes they're just called ninjas. I think hand is because like
in the Wolverine mini that Yukio is introduced in, they are the hand, and they are working for the Yashida clan.
I think in the issues that I'm talking about, which are when Bobby goes to save Opal, which is his girlfriend at the time, from her family, they just refer to them as ninjas.
I bet after a while, because you like use the hand because they are the ninjas of like the well-known ninjas of the Marvel universe, but they are very much tied to Daredevil, and I feel like Daredevil stories have a lot more who's in control of the hand stories. Yeah, where like if Clan Yashida's technically in the X-Men universe in the control of the hand, whoever it is in Daredevil can't be, you know what I mean? So I think they sort of stopped using hand. I don't know for sure, but I could see them stop using the term hand ninjas and just being their own Yashida, like house they're house ninjas.
House ninjas. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It is really interesting because like there is a storyline with the hand, and we're going to get there. But I think at this point in time where she's like occasionally helping them out and helping out the X-Men, it's like not the hand, or at least it's like not necessarily 100% clear. Some other important things that happen during this time while she's like being this crime boss and like being kind of cool is this is where we are introduced to Amiko, who in her introduction in Uncanny X-Men 181 is referred to as Akiko, actually.
Cool.
And I like it switched at some point, and we're here talking about Mariko, so I haven't done a deep dive on this. There is a point at which this changes, but they like change her name to Amiko. But like it is 100% Akiko in 181 Uncanny X-Men.
Awesome.
100%. And it's like multiple times. It's not a typo. They changed her name. I don't exactly know why. There could be a possible reason for that, but I don't know. So Akiko shows up because there is a dragon attack in Japan, and Wolverine is there, and also Mariko is there dealing with it because she is running like a major enterprise in Japan and is in charge of stuff and has like political power. And Amiko is like basically orphaned, like her parents die during this attack, and effectively they like kind of adopt her. Like Logan, they refer to him in other issues after this as like her foster father, and she refers to Mariko as her mom. Like, and this is only about a couple of months later. And the reason I know it's a couple of months later is because in the issue, Mariko actually says that she's like, oh my gosh, she's calling me mother. I'm going to protect her. Like, she's still traumatized though. Like, you know, it's only been a couple months. It's at this point with this introduction of Amiko is because I think they want this storyline of a damsel in distress, but Mariko is kind of evolved at this point.
Yeah.
To being this like kind of badass leader of like a major
when you have
conglomerate.
a bunch of ninjas at your disposal, it's hard to be the damsel in distress.
Exactly. And so then it shifts to more Amiko, and there are like a lot of storylines here that a lot in terms of percentage of issues that they're in, which is not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're in 10 issues and you're in distress in 7 of them, that's a lot.
It's a lot, right? But it's still only 7 issues, right? But like she kind of becomes the target of like the machinations around like things that are Wolverine's getting caught up in.
Yeah.
Be that the Viper, be that Yukio, be that Silver Fox in one of these, if you can believe it. Though if I think that in our coverage of it, we talked about it's not actually Silver Fox, it's potentially a fake that we find out later. Good but boy. That's not here nor there.
Right. Right.
So in 1988, in the Wolverine solo series, so it's the Wolverine number 55 to 57, this is where the hand becomes a major topic again with Mariko and the Japanese subplot, because in these issues the hand is pressuring Mariko to give them her underground web and contacts, because at this point Mariko is actively trying to divest Yashida clan from all of these kind of shady Yakuza deals, and is close. Like, it's possible for her to do it. And she's also motivated by it. And this is where I think the motivation, it is not only by honor, but by the fact that she will be able to marry Wolverine. She's trying to make good on their promise here.
Yeah.
Which it's been a couple of years, right? This is 88. So, like, it makes sense from a storyline perspective that she's been working and she might be there to do it. But the hand wants to take over. They don't want her to just dissolve it and, like, get rid of all these, like, contacts and stuff. They want her to hand it over to them. She doesn't want to do it. And she actually refuses to do it. She has a really cool, really hardcore phone call with like the head of the hand at the time. And she's just like, I don't bow to basically like a ninja upstart. I am like the head of Clan Yashida. You can't talk to me like that and I'm not going to listen to you. It's very cool. It's like a really nice, fun moment when you go back and compare to like 1982 runs of her.
Sure.
I think it's really interesting and really compelling. This is also the run where Jubilee is involved.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is like familiar to you. This is like Jubilee running around.
I haven't read this, no.
Oh, you haven't read it?
No.
This is pretty good. So this is actually like the major one. So basically, the hand then puts out a hit on Jubilee, and they're also yelling at Mariko because Wolverine is in Japan. But Wolverine is in Japan for Jubilee, and there's like other stuff going on. It's almost relevant. He's not there actually to see Mariko, but like the hand wants revenge on Wolverine. For reasons I'm sure are of plenty. Yeah,
everyone's got reasons.
Everybody's got reasons. Yeah. Yukio is also there and is trying to help Jubilee. And so you have this like kind of kind of not really redoing the 1982 run, but like putting all the players back on the board here, where we're like, okay, we've got Yukio here, she's helping out, she's a ninja, but she's not with the hand this time. The hand is after Mariko's contacts, but also wants to kill Wolverine, and also are putting out hits on Jubilee, and Silver Fox is here, and you're like, that's new, but why are we doing that? But all of this to say, one of the things that happens in this issue's run is that Matsuo, who is the leader of the hand, goes to Mariko and says, why don't we make a deal? And the deal is that we will pay you and we will take your underground stuff. Wolverine will live, Jubilee will live, we'll stop all this fighting, everybody will be happy, you'll get the money that you need, and we'll take away your underground contacts. And for one thing. And the thing that he wants is her finger.
Okay.
She takes this deal. Mariko's like, heck yeah, I'm totally going to take that. Like, to her, it's like, this is perfect. This is what she's been looking for. Everybody's taken care of. She gets to marry Wolverine, and all she has to do is lose a finger. This is how she is. Like, this makes complete sense for her to take this deal. And she does. She cuts her finger. The knife is poisoned.
Oh.
So they've introduced, there's a different ninja that's been like running around, and it's too much. It's like not really relevant to what's going on here.
Right.
But she gets captured by Matsuo, and she is like a ninja of poison. And he takes one of her blades in an earlier scene there. And when he goes to Mariko, he gives her the blade. And if you're paying close attention, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's no, don't. But she does. And she takes the blade and she's poisoned, and there is no cure. Wolverine finds her, and she begs him, because this is a really excruciating poison. It's like a suffering poison, a poison of death. And she asks him to kill her while her heart still like is thinking about him and is full of him, and she's not just dying in pain, to just kill her, make it quick, and like give her that honor of like a swift death. And he does, and she dies.
This is like kind of similar to what he does to Jean Grey.
Yes.
Later.
Yes.
In what, all new X-Men? No, it's
No, it's not all new. I don't.
It's just
think.
new X-Men.
Yeah.
I think it's just Morrison's run.
Yeah.
One of the times we talked about Jean Grey dying was a similar thing where she was dying and he's just sped up the process because there was no coming back from it.
Yeah. It is quite interesting. Mariko stays dead, unlike Jean Grey.
Yeah, right.
She stays dead. It's a bummer, right? Like, it's a bummer for everybody, because like it's like you've been following this character. I think this is why I really like this, even though going back and reading all of her appearances, I was like, wow, there really aren't that many.
No.
There's not that many appearances. But like it was such a complete story, and it was so solid, and it has a beginning and it has a middle and it has an end. And you're like, and that's how it ends. And it's tragic. And then so Wolverine, like it sticks with you. And I think it was just, I'm also a big Claremont fan, you know that.
Sure,
so like for me, this is like up my alley.
But I mean, that's why they used it for the Wolverine, though.
Absolutely.
Is partially the miniseries, but I think that is why she has some staying power. I mean, if you look at going back to one of our favorite runs, The Exiles.
Yeah.
They do bring her in as an alternate dimension version of her, does join the Exiles, and she is actually Sunfire.
Yeah, that's
as
cool.
opposed to her cousin being Sunfire. So there's no Wolverine in that part because it's Morph trying to hit on her a bunch and then finds out she's gay, and then they're just friends.
It's great.
It's awesome. She's a fun time in that.
There are some very interesting appearances for her.
Yeah.
Before we get into the alternate realities, because there's one AU I do want to talk about. Mm-hmm. Do you know that there's actually one more appearance of Mariko?
Yeah. No, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
No.
It's in 2010.
Okay.
It's in Wolverine, just called Wolverine.
Yeah.
And it's 2010 is when it came out, but it's number 2 and in number 5, which came out in 2011. So just so you know. And this is a Utopia era.
Okay.
Wolverine is sent to hell.
Oh, yeah, that's the Jason Aaron run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally sent to hell.
Yeah.
And has to...
It's called Wolverine Goes to Hell.
Goes to hell, yeah. Yes. And...
I forgot.
Yes. She is in it.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. She is in it. She's in that run because he is literally in hell and literally talking to Satan and literally being tortured. And one of the things that Satan does is retrieves Mariko from her cage in hell. And he's like, how is she here? And Satan says to him, she's literally she was literally the head of a Yakuza.
Right.
Of course she's here.
She sent a bunch of ninjas to kill people.
Yeah,
what do you think ninjas do?
Like, she absolutely belongs here, right? Like, I mean, again, he is being tortured.
Sure.
But, like, this is literal hell with literal Satan. And not, like, we've referred to other kinds of hells and stuff. No. This is, like, true hell. Mystique confirms it.
Hell.
Satan, capital S. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so silly. There's Ghost Riders in this run. There's multiple Ghost Riders in this run.
We're not talking alien Lucifers. We're not talking Damien
We're not talking about Lucifers. We're talking about Satan.
I know. We're talking about Satan. Not Hella.
No.
Not in hell with one L. We're talking hell with 2 L's.
Yes.
Double hockey sticks.
Yeah. So she has 2 things that she has to do here. The first is she is required to torture him, and she does, and she begs him to submit to Satan. That like there is no, like everybody submits eventually, and Sabretooth is there because he's also like chained up to Satan. In issue 5, when they're escaping, Wolverine goes to her cell to free her, and basically she like refuses once again because of atonement, and she begs him to, there's nothing for her up there, and that her life there is over. Maybe in another life it'll be better, they could be together, but do her a favor and remember her how she was and not how you saw her here, which I feel like is almost a plea to the audience in some ways. Pretty depressing.
Yeah,
that is the actual,
I mean, that's not bringing her back, though. You know
appearance.
What I mean?
Yes, it's not bringing her back. She is dead. She is also in hell, which is pretty brutal. Feels unfair, actually, but whatever. That is the actual last appearance of Mariko, and I think it's pretty bleak.
Yep.
It's pretty bleak.
Yep.
She doesn't get better. like
a lot of Marvel characters.
She doesn't get better. She doesn't
get better.
And I just like hate to think about it.
I mean,
right?
but can you imagine if they brought her back though? Like, what would that even look like?
You can't.
You can't.
Well,
when you have a satisfying ending like that, the only way you can do it is like most likely alternate versions of her, yes, or like alternate universes, or a clone or something where it's not quite her. When you have such a complete run in an, like, because now we're talking 80s, we're talking 40 years ago, comic books, current comic book readers are not going to be like, oh yes, bring back Mariko.
Yes.
Like if you take an old character and bring them back, that's always kind of fun when they were still kicking around.
Yeah.
But to bring her back specifically would be such a pull that you'd have to explain exactly who she is for people who don't know who she is.
Right. I do also think that there is a potential light in the dark. There is an AU.
Always.
It happens 11 years after Mariko is in hell. Okay. 10 years, I guess. In 2021, Peach Momoko, who is, I'm going to just be honest, one of my favorite artists that is working for Marvel Comics, period. If you play Marvel Snap, whenever I play that game, every time I get a Peach Momoko card, that's the card I'm using. It's not, there's no questions. I don't care what the other cards I have. It's going to be that one. Big fan.
She's writing the current Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about.
No, that's not what we're
talking about. Because that
about.
follows Armor, if I recall.
This is very cool.
Which,
I just think it's cool.
Yeah, I need to get around to doing, but I'm too busy reading all the other, like, 616 stuff.
Yeah.
But, yes.
I'm a big fan of her. And she has a series called Demon Days, and it's kind of hard to find, I'm going to admit, because on Unlimited it doesn't like feed into each other because they're all number ones.
Yeah, each individual issue has its own title, so you have to, at the end of the issue, you're gonna have to search for the next title.
It's a bummer.
They don't make it easy for you.
They do not. I just think they really mess it up. I have issues with these. They love putting number ones and just getting people to buy number ones, but the first one is Demon Days Mariko, so that should be the easiest one to find. And this AU is basically Mariko as a child, has nothing to do with Wolverine really, though she does have a wolf named Logan.
Amazing.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is about her realizing that she lives with this old woman who she calls grandmother, and like she was actually a child of an Oni, which is like a Japanese like monster. And if you've watched any anime, you are probably familiar with that. She kind of goes on this kind of like weird not psychic, like alternate universe thing where she's like meeting demons and speaking them through her visions, but her visions are memories, and it's just
a
like
little bit ethereal.
Very ethereal. Peach Momoko's, if you don't know her style, is kind of like anime-ish, but not like a mature, like a Miyazaki style, not like a shonen style anime, and is also like watercolory in terms of like coloring. Really beautiful, like honestly truly beautiful, but it is kind of a weird trip and it has nothing to do with anything else. But I do think it's interesting because they're like reimagining this character as a character that is like part monster, like not exactly
like
human, part demon, like part god, kind of like. And because like the king of the Oni is her father, actually, spoiler alert, and whatever. But like, because that's not important though. The important is like the emotional journey really of the book. And I was like, the whole time I was reading it, I was like, this actually doesn't say 100%. Like, it is alternate universe. We looked it up. We double checked.
But I was the same. I read the first issue. I was like, is this canon?
It could be.
It could have been.
It could have been.
But according to the internet, it's not. But I don't think it is. Like, because it's one of those that like, wait a minute, why would all this happen before? Yeah.
It doesn't
just
quite match up.
Enjoy it for what it is.
But there could be a world where something based on that might be a reason to bring her back. I feel like Peach Momoko opened the door to being like, if anybody is interested in bringing Mariko back,
here's some breadcrumbs.
Here's some breadcrumbs that we could maybe pick up, and maybe you don't. Maybe you do something totally different, but it's there.
I did look it up. If you are trying to find it on Marvel Unlimited, you can find a reading guide.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
That is just called the Demon Days Saga.
Yes, that is what it's called.
There is a Demon Days X-Men issue first, and then I think it's all the Mariko stuff. Like, it's 4 issues, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they have X-Men first, and then the Mariko. Like, I think it's a one-off, and then Mariko stuff.
And then the Mariko stuff, yeah. Highly recommend. I think it's really good. And that's Mariko. She's really sad. We love her.
She's tragic.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy of her own making a little bit, but her own making of like via her intense responsibility to the people that she was put in charge of. Like, she lives a lavish lifestyle, not like necessarily because she was like, she's under the thumb of her dad or whatever, but like she lives in a palace. Like, it's
a gilded cage.
A gilded cage, right? And so she takes that responsibility on for like all of the people that don't live in the gilded cage, and they just live in a regular cage, and it's important to her to take care of them, and ends up never being with Wolverine. Though I would say that one of her last things that she says to him is that, well, we were married in our hearts anyway. Does it really matter? And I think that's what you should take away.
Right.
They were married in their hearts anyway.
They had a daughter.
They did.
Even though it was adopted.
Yeah.
And they were married even though they weren't married.
Yeah.
But does it matter?
It doesn't matter. So yeah,
so
that's Mariko.
All right. Her. Well, there's plenty of Mariko left in this movie.
Yes.
So she'll probably pop up when we talk about other things. But for now, I'm Producer James.
And I'm Stasia.
And we'll see you for the next 10.